Good morning, and this morning I'm talking about CES again, and I'm a little bit late to the party on this one, and to be honest I wasn't going to make a video discussing it because there's loads of videos out there already about it, but the more I thought about it, the more excited I became. And what I'm talking about is the Alienware UFO prototype by Dell. Now you guys, those of you who've been following me for a little while at least, will know that I love hardware, almost to the point of obsession, and this thing, quite frankly, has me drooling. It is a concept piece, and that means if this ever does become a production model, it could look and feel very different to what's currently on offer, and we do need to bear that in mind. And we also need to bear in mind that we may never actually see this thing at all. But a lot of people, as I say, are talking about it, and a lot of people are excited about it. And I'm certainly very excited about something like this because, well, it's a PC in your hand. That's basically what it is. And that means, well, everything that you think it might mean in terms of functionality and what you could do with it. Now, different people had different ideas, and some people were more positive about it than others. The one that struck me as being a bit odd and a bit out of place, though, was Engadget. And their video was, if I'm being frank, crap. And it seemed to entirely miss the point of a product like this. They also said, and I quote, "I can't imagine Dell could sell this for more than $300, which, in my view, is nuts." The guy was trying to compare the device to the Switch, and I can see that there are obvious comparisons to be had. But this thing would appeal to a wholly, or at least maybe not wholly, but a partially different audience, the PC audience primarily. I was also struck by the fact that the guy said that the Alienware device was uncomfortable, while simultaneously praising the Switch's form factor. Now, I haven't had hands-on with the device, but from what I could see, the design of the UFO looked much more comfortable than the Switch, which, in my view, has a terrible button layout in handheld mode and is frankly bloody uncomfortable. And look, I like the Switch, but let's be honest, it's not exactly the most comfortable device in the hand, and you'll need some sort of, well, I use a Satisfy grip to make mine a little bit more comfortable, but you can get other grips, and you would need something like that to make it more comfortable. This device looked like the layout was much more like the Xbox controller layout when you got your hands on it, and that to me looks like it might be more comfortable. Now, I can't talk about the triggers and stuff like that, that might not be comfortable, but this did look on the whole to have a better layout than the Switch. And I could be wrong, like I say, I haven't had hands on. I did also see though that other commentators were saying that the UFO was comfortable in the hand. So maybe it's just that the Engadget guy has had his hands engineered to fit the Switch. Who knows? But just think about the UFO for a moment. You can get your Steam library on the go because, as I say, it's a Windows 10 device. You could get your GOG library on the go. You could get Game Pass from Microsoft on the go and without the need for streaming. You could even load up your entire retro library with something like Launchbox and take that with you as well. And that really appeals to me. These are all things that the Switch can only dream of, frankly. So the functionality that is potentially on offer here destroys the Switch in many respects. And even if I have belatedly come to love my Switch, I can still see its limitations. Those limitations come about because the Switch is engineered to a low price point. And that's why I think Engadget are, well, completely out as regards the price of the Alienware UFO. If you want the functionality on offer here, you're going to have to pay for it. And the kind of hardware you'd need to run the more up-to-date Steam games, even at medium to low settings, would be fairly hefty. And if you want to run emulators for some of the later consoles, such as the GameCube, well, the same applies. So, as I say, this ain't coming cheap. The idea that something like this would come out at $300 is frankly ludicrous. I'd expect Dell to be asking somewhere between $400 and $600 for it, and possibly even more. And, they could release different SKUs, some at lower price, some at high. If they release 2 SKUs around about the $350, $400 mark and another one around the $600, $650 mark, then maybe they could get away with doing that. I don't know. But I'd pay for it, and I'd pay for the more expensive one, just so I could have all that functionality in my hand and on the go. Something like this is the holy grail for someone like me. The idea that you can load up your Steam library, your GOG library, all your retro games, whatever, and play them reasonably well is an awesome idea, and one which I've been looking for years. I've bought loads of devices to try and do just that. But even if we set aside cost for a moment, there are still caveats. As a concept, everything about this device is open to change, but even with what we do know, there are some questions to be answered, like how do you play PC-based RTS games without a keyboard and mouse? I do know that the device is supposed to accept a keyboard and mouse input, and that it can stand up and be used almost like a gaming laptop, so that would solve the problem in certain circumstances. Not really if you're sitting with it on your lap on a bus, you don't want a keyboard and mouse as well, but hey, And having to lug a keyboard and mouse around, well, that would kind of undermine the element of portability somewhat. The flip side of that, though, is that this being a Windows 10 PC means that you could also have applications such as Word on there, which again makes the UFO extremely versatile. With this, a keyboard and mouse, and maybe an external hard drive in your backpack, it's conceivable that you wouldn't need any other device when visiting your great aunt Gladys for the weekend. As I say, this is still only a concept, and Dell haven't committed to making this device at all. But it's still extremely exciting already. The fact that Dell are asking for feedback is even more exciting. And that could mean that we actually get to see a product that will please tech fans and gamers like yours truly. My only worry is that they listen more to people at media outlets like Engadget rather than actual gamers and hobbyists, and thus design the product down to the lowest possible price, which will, render it useless. If they stick to the basic concept we've already seen, though, and refine it for both form and functionality, then they could be on for a winner. And it could be a brilliant little device. Certainly has me excited. I want one. I want one now. So get on with it, Dell. Get making it. And don't listen to Engadget. Just make the device and take my money. But anyway, look, that's what I think about it. You guys might have different views. You might like this. You might not like it. You might want some different form factor or whatever. Let me know in the comments as ever. And if you like this one, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't, well, you know the usual routine. And I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea. And I will speak to you guys in the next one. Bye.